A matchup that's going to be heavily monitored in the Denver Broncos Week 1 game against the Las Vegas Raiders is Davante Adams versus Pat Surtain. These two have matched up in two previous games, and in the first game, I would say the win goes to Pat Surtain, but in the second game, Davante Adams did get the best of PS2, especially on the walk-off touchdown play. But what I want to showcase here are two plays between Pat Surtain and Davante Adams that really showcase Pat Surtain and his ability to get the best of Davante Adams, especially when it comes to Davante Adams' top-tier route running. But I also want to showcase a rep where, once again, Davante Adams just kind of got PS2 back, and I feel like that's going to be a showcase of the battles that we're going to see between these two players for hopefully several years to come, depending on how long Davante is in the AFC West. But for however long we've got this matchup, I really want to enjoy it. So without further ado, let's just get into the film. So on this first play, I feel like this is going to be the best angle that showcases it here. So it's going to be in the final 40 seconds of the first half for Las Vegas. And as you can see here, Pat Surtain is going to be playing off coverage on Davante Adams on first down and 10. So the route that Davante is going to run is a route that is traditionally utilized to beat off coverage. So he's going to fake as if he's running a straight vertical route and then snap it back here on this little curl route. But as we see when we roll the clip, there's going to be some more intricacies to the route that Davante runs on this play. And PS2, he's going to be all over it from the start. So as we roll it here, you can see that Davante is going to start selling that vertical. And what PS2 is trained to do in this situation here is put his butt to the sideline. And what that basically does is that funnels Davante to the outside here, allowing the sideline to basically be his help. And then that way it makes things a lot easier if Davante were to break inside. Pat Surtain would have the leverage to take those routes away. So that's what is the trained technique there for Pat Surtain. You see, he puts his butt to the sideline and starts to carry Davante vertically. Now, Davante is going to do some really nice route running here. You see him put his left foot in the ground right here to try to possibly sell to Surtain that he's getting ready to break to the inside. What Surtain is possibly thinking here is that Davante is going to break inside on a post route or something like that, or at least that's what Davante wants Surtain to think he's going to do. But then Davante does something really crazy as he kind of then pivots inside and crouches down, and by this point, Pat Surtain has no idea what Davante is going to do here. Is he going to break outside? Is he going to whip back? But with Pat Surtain, he had to have watched film here because he's going to put his cleat in the ground pretty much at the same moment that Davante puts his cleat in the ground. And Surtain is going to do a full 180-degree turn right when Davante goes to snap back on his route. You can see right here, Pat Surtain, previously his butt was to the sideline. Now his butt is completely the opposite direction. So that just showcases the change of direction ability there for Pat Surtain. And then once Davante goes to look for the football, Pat Surtain is all over him, just completely blanketed over him. And this is a well-placed ball here from Derek Carr. But at the end of the day, Pat Surtain is just all over it, and he does not bite at all on any of the fake jab moves here with Davante's feet that he does. Pat Surtain clearly watched film and knew that Davante was going to snap out here on this route and was all over it from the start. This is just elite, textbook level play there from Pat Surtain. And the fact that he was able to get his hips completely around like that to make this play, that is what makes this play really special for Pat Surtain. So with Pat Surtain, he showcased on this play that some of Davante Adams' most advanced route running is not going to fool him, and that he's going to be able to keep up with Davante Adams, and that he's watched plenty of film of Davante Adams. And this is a play that should have been a pretty easy completion for the Raiders, but Pat Surtain was all over it from the start, and that just goes to show how high of a football IQ Pat Surtain has. And this just proves that we're going to see more and more tough and physical plays like this from Pat Surtain in his battles with Davante Adams. But on this play right here, Davante Adams is going to get the best of Pat Surtain. This is going to be the walk-off touchdown in our Week 11 matchup against the Raiders. Pat Surtain, this is one where he's going to have to look back on tape and basically not make the same mistake twice. So with Davante Adams here, what the Raiders are going to do, first of all, is it's going to be hard play action, like a delayed handoff here. And Derek Carr, he's going to step up in the face of pressure here. Nick Bonito is going to somewhat beat the left tackle off the edge. The Broncos are also going to be blitzing Josie Jewell here, so it's going to be a linebacker blitz, and then it's going to be a 4-deep coverage right here with 2 defenders underneath. So it's basically a quarters blitz look. And with quarters coverage, whenever a receiver comes into your deep zone here, it basically turns into a one-on-one matchup. So for all intents and purposes on this play, Pat Surtain is going to be one-on-one with Davante Adams. Now, what Davante is basically going to do is he's going to fake as if he's going to be running this deep over route. But once Pat Surtain comes inside here and basically overcommits to the over route, then that's when Davante is going to snap back outside on a corner route. And this is going to get Pat Surtain just all kinds of lost if we go ahead and roll the play here. So with Pat Surtain, we'll go ahead and roll it. There's your hard play action right there, and you can see Pat Surtain is driving inside right there. He's way overcommitted to playing this deep over route, and Davante is selling it really well. He's selling it as if he's bending his route to the inside, and then he's going to sort of bend it out here, probably just beyond the 20-yard line, but Pat Surtain has to know better than that. Davante Adams is one of the best route runners in the NFL. You can't just imagine he's going to go straight to the deep over like that. And right there, Davante Adams is putting Pat Surtain in a really vulnerable position. He's square with his feet, so Pat Surtain has no idea what direction Davante is going to turn, much like the last play. Unfortunately, here, Pat Surtain is going to guess wrong, as by the time Davante hitches back to the outside, you can see Pat Surtain's rear end is turned completely opposite of him. PS2 has no chance, and he's got no help over the top. He has to know that. He has to know that this is one-on-one all the way, and Davante just gets the best of him on that one. So in the game against the Raiders in Week 1, we're going to have to see if Pat Surtain learned from his mistakes here. And what we're going to have to see here is if Pat Surtain knows better than to trust Davante Adams when he sells his routes. He's got to be prepared for Davante to snap in any different direction, basically. So this was just an unfortunate play there from Pat Surtain. But this is one where he's going to have to look at the tape and realize that Davante Adams is one of the best poker players in the NFL in terms of selling his routes. So when it comes to playing Davante Adams, Pat Surtain has to be more disciplined than this. All right, Broncos country. So at the end of the day, what are you expecting to see from the matchup between Pat Surtain and Davante Adams? I feel like it's probably going to be something pretty similar to what we've seen from the first 2 games, where Pat Surtain's going to get some and Davante Adams is going to get some. Davante's probably going to have at least one big play in the game. I'm curious to see how the chemistry between Davante and Jimmy Garoppolo is, but I'm curious about what you think the stat line for Davante Adams is going to be in Week 1 against the Broncos. Drop those comments down below, guys. I would love to hear your thoughts on this as always. Be sure to leave a like on this video as well as subscribe and ring the bell so these videos appear in your notification feed. I would really appreciate it, guys. Those are 2 free and easy ways to show your support. Helps tell YouTube's algorithm to push us out and helps us get seen by more and more members of Broncos country just like you and me. And until next time, guys, this has been another episode of Denver Broncos Syndicate. I am your host, Gage Madrid, saying peace out.